Hello everyone. In today's lecture we will see multiplications of vector. First we will see how vector will perform when we multiply by some scalar value. Suppose I am having a vector v, okay, and I am multiplying it with some magnitude, some scalar value c is equals to 2. So now what will happen? Magnitude of my vector 2v is double the magnitude of original vector, but its direction is same as my original vector. Now suppose I am putting c is equals to minus 2. So now this vector minus 2v is having same magnitude as 2v, but it is having opposite direction to my original vector. Okay. Similarly, if I put c is equals to 0, vector is not having any magnitude or direction. Okay. And multiplication of vector by scalar obey associative as well as distribution law. Now we will see two important operations on vectors which are related to physical quantities, that are dot product and cross product. Okay, suppose ball is falling down the hill. Okay, then the force of gravity at each point is downward. Now when ball it rolls, it's not going straight down, it is going sideways. And we know that if this were frictionless, that the kinetic energy of ball, both if you add both rotational and falling energy, the kinetic energy of ball when it reaches here is related to loss in potential energy. So we know that the increase in kinetic energy is equals to mgh, but the ball could have gained the same energy if it had fallen straight down. So it seems that how it fell to this point doesn't matter. All that matters is how much it fell. So in other words, if the ball fell from this point to this point straight down, it gained mgh. If it fell like this, it still gained mgh. The force due to gravity is uniform and downward. So somehow you need to get a number that is constant regardless of which way the ball is falling, whether the ball is falling straight or the ball is falling sideways. So answer to that is, we look at this angle theta. Okay, if you look at the angle theta, the length and the height can write a relation, and you say that h is equals to L cos theta. Cos theta is base by hypotenuse. Okay, so h must be L cos theta. So what does that mean? Okay, I will just erase everything once. So what does that mean? If you are moving in any direction, this is the direction you are moving and this is the direction of force, the amount of energy you gain is not equals to force times the direction or distance along the direction. Rather, it has to do with force times the direction times cos theta. That is what you get here. Instead of mgh, you get mgh. Substitute h, you get L cos mgh L cos theta. So in vector notation, the same idea can be written down. The idea is, you have the vector mg. I am putting arrow on g to indicate it is now a vector, and this L can give you direction as well. And then this cos theta we can take care by putting dot. So this dot implies that taking the angle between two vectors, finding the cosine and multiply the magnitudes. Okay, so this operation is extremely important. It is probably the most important vector operation you know, and it is very important in all operation we do regarding work, regarding kinetic energy, potential energy, and you could have encountered in many places also. Now next is operational use of dot product, that is done to find the angle between two vectors in three-dimensional space, is often a job we would prefer to avoid, and for that reason the definition of dot product is usually not used in its basic form. A more helpful result is obtained by considering two vectors whose Cartesian components are given, such as A and B. Okay, and we know that dot product obey distribution law, therefore A dot B, okay, it when we multiply both the vectors by using dot product, okay, so since dot product obey the distribution law, this A dot B yields sum of 9 scalar terms, each involving the dot product of two unit vectors. Okay, since the angle between two different unit vector of Cartesian system is 90 degree, we have seen that all three coordinates are x's are placed at 90 degree, means mutually perpendicular to each other, means two are having angle 90 between them. So unit vector across x across y have angle 90 between them, unit vector across x and z have 90 degree, unit vector y and z also have 90 degree, so all are having 90 degree with respect to each other. And since the angle between two different vectors of Cartesian system is 90, so we know that cos 90 is what? 0. So two vectors, if I am taking their unit vectors, if I am taking their dot product, it will be 0 if they are mutually perpendicular to each other or perpendicular to each other. So x, y, y, z, z, a, y, x, z, y, x, z all will yield 0. The remaining three terms involving dot product of unit vector with itself is unity, because cos 0 is how much? It is 1. So when unit vector is multiplied by itself, we will get unity. Now we will put all these value in this equation. So this gives final A dot B, which is an expression involving no angles. Okay, so this is dot product of two vectors, no angle is there between them, and a vector dotted with itself yields the magnitude square. You can derive it and you can verify it also. So what is dot product? So giving two vector A and B the dot product or scalar product. Dot product is also known as scalar product because we have seen from last slide that dot multiplication of two vector will yield a scalar number without no angle, means there is no angle between two vectors dot product. Okay, so A dot B or dot product or a scalar product is defined as product of magnitudes of A and B and the cosine, the angle between them. So giving two vectors A and B, the dot product or scalar product is product of magnitude of both the vectors into cosine of small angle between them. Okay, so why the dot product? Because dot product will give you angular relationship between two vectors. Okay, so what are the properties of dot product? Dot product obey commutative law. Okay, it also obey distributive law. It's also obey associative law. So these are the laws which are obeyed by dot product. Now what is this? What is the use of dot product? It is to give an angular relationship between two vectors. So what actually that means? Actually we will see that in our next slide also once. Then I will come back over here. So one of the most important application of dot product is that of finding component of vector in a given direction, or to determine the projection of vector in a given direction. So projection can be scalar or vector. Refer to figure A. We can obtain the component or scalar of B in the direction of specified by this unit vector A. As how can I get this projection on unit vector of this B? The B vector, A vector dot product is the projection of B on unit vector A. Okay, so it is B magnitude A magnitude into cos angle between this B and A. So this B dot A gives the projection of B on unit vector A. If this angle is positive, suppose it is between 0 and 90, between 0 and 90 cos 0 to cos 90, I am having positive angles, means its value is positive. And if my angle is above 90 and till 180 degree, I will get negative value. Okay, so the sign of component is positive if angle is between 0 to 90, and it is negative if the angle is between 90 to 180. Now in order to obtain the component of vector B in the direction of unit vector A, we simply multiply component by A. If we want a vector component of B, this is scalar component of vector B, because B into A is a dot product, and dot product is scalar value itself. We call scalar product also. So this is scalar value without no angle. Okay, now I want vector component of B along this. So this is my scalar value, and if I put the unit vector, okay, hence the component along A is now a vector quantity. It is not scalar anymore. Okay, so this is scalar, which is multiplied by unit vector will give me a vector itself. So this gives the vector component of B in horizontal direction. Okay, so the component of B, scalar component of B in the direction of A is B dot AX. If you will multiply it, simply if I have this some in Cartesian form, if I write A, B, BX, AX plus BY, AY plus BZ, AZ. So this is my B vector. Similarly, unit vector is what? 1 into AX. Okay, other components are 0. Okay, when you are multiplying them, dot product, these terms will be 0 by distribution law. Even the angle between them and AX is what? 0. I will just clear it once and do it again. Clear the. So I'm having a vector B. My B vector is Bx Ax hat plus By Ay plus Bz Az. So these are my 3 components of vector B along 3 unit directions. So I have to multiply this vector with dot multiplication of vector with Ax. So since dot product is distributive, it will be Bx Ax hat plus By Ax hat Ay hat Ax hat plus Bz Az hat Ax hat. So angle between these 2 unit vector is 90. So cos 90 is 0. So they are having no values. And angle between unit vector with itself is 0. So cos 0 is 1. So B vector dot product with Ax is Bx itself. Now this is my scalar component along unit vector. The component of vector component is Bx into Ax hat, or you can write dot product of B into Ax hat into Ax. So this is vector component. Okay. So basically dot product is used to give a projection of any vector along horizontal direction. Similarly, if you will see in our last slide, the direction of the component of A, this is my A vector, this blue line is my A vector. So component of A along direction of B is A cos theta. This is, if you will have this theta, so cos theta is again base by hypotenuse. Base is my B and A is my hypotenuse. Okay, so component in the direction is A cos theta. Similarly, along the direction of A, component of B vector is B cos theta. Okay. Now let us take a look at another operation, which is brother of dot product. Okay, so assume when a magnetic field is present, and you have a proton, and proton is moving in certain direction. You find that proton in presence of magnetic field do not move either, or do not change its direction either in the direction of magnetic field or in the direction of motion. In fact, the proton try to change the direction in third direction. And it's tried to go 90 degree. Sorry, it should be 90 degree. I will just clear it once. Okay. So it's try to move in third direction, which is 90 degree to magnetic field and even 90 degree to velocity. And what is all the more the amount by which force happen Okay, so force is proportional to magnitude of the number associated with V, the length of B into sine of this angle between motion and magnetic field. It is theta. Okay. So I will just see top view of this example. So suppose I am having this as magnetic field. This cross signs are direction of my magnetic field. So magnetic field is going downward. You can see downward at each point, and my charge is trying to move in this direction. Okay, so the direction of proton actual movement will be along this circle. Similarly, if direction of V is that, third direction. Now in the dot product, the magnitude multiply by cos theta, and in cross product, magnitude multiply by sin theta. But the most important thing of all is the direction of V into B cos theta. What is the direction of this? So the direction of force can be found by using right hand slap rule. This rule describes the direction of force as the direction of slap of open hand. This is the direction of slap of open hand, so that is my direction of force. As with the right hand grip rule, the thumb points in the direction of that positive charge is moving, and if positive charge moving, and if moving charge is negative, for example electron, then you need to reverse the direction of your thumb, because the force will be in opposite direction. Okay, so alternatively you can use left hand rule for negative charges. So if you, I will just repeat it. Right hand slap rule, open hand direction is your force. So suppose if you put over here, your magnetic fields are your fingers. Okay, this is your thumb direction. Positive charge means right hand rule you are taking. So this is your hand, means you think as if your middle finger. Okay, then consider the direction of protons. So force is downward. Force is downward means your hand will be kept downside view. Okay, now next is, I will just recall it. Suppose a positive charge Q is moving in magnetic field B with the velocity V. It will experience a force Fb. Okay, and Fb magnitude is number associated with velocity or direction times magnetic field. Okay, this cross product is given by this sine angle, sine theta. Okay, so here it will be Q is also there. Q is the charge value. Now giving two vectors A and B, the cross product or dot product of A and B is defined as product of magnitude of A with magnitude of B and the sine of angle between them, and the direction of cross B is perpendicular to the plane containing A into B and is along one of the two possible perpendicular, which is in direction of advance of right hand screw rule. A is turned into B. Okay, so the screw direction will give me force direction. Reversing the order of A and B results in unit vector in opposite direction. If I am moving in this direction, the force will be in upward. So we say that cross product is not commutative. It is not commutative. The direction will be different. Okay. Now these are the properties followed by cross product. Now we will see the evaluation of cross product. Okay. The evaluation of cross product by mean of its definition turn out to be more work than evaluation of dot product from its definition. For not only we are not only just finding the angle between the vector, but we must find an expression for unit vector an also. So this work may be avoided by using Cartesian component of two vectors, say A and B. Okay, and expanding cross product gives a sum of 9 similar cross product, each involving two unit vectors. If the definition of cross product is applied to the unit vectors Ax and Ay, we find Ax into Ay means cross Ax cross Ay is equals to Az. For each vector has unit magnitude. Okay, the two vectors are perpendicular to each other, and the rotation of Ax into Ay indicates position of z direction by a definition of right hand coordinate system. So in similar way, Ay into Az will give Ax. Ay into Az give Ax, and Ax into Az into Ax will give me Ay. Okay. Note that alphabetic symmetry, as long as three vectors Ax, Ay and Az are written in order, assuming that Ax follow Az like three elements in a circle holding tails. So we could write as A, Y, Ax, Az, or Ax, Az, Ax, Ay. Okay, so this is the direction, anti-clockwise. Okay, then the cross product, an equal sign may be placed either of two vacant space. As much as fact, it is now similar to define right hand Cartesian coordinate by saying Ax into Ay is equals to Az. Similarly, Ay into Az is equals to Ax. We found that Ax into Ay is equals to Az. Okay. Similarly, if I go opposite way, anti-clockwise, my direction is changed. So Ay into Ax will give me negative Az. Then Az into Ay will give me negative Ax. Okay, and the remaining terms are 0. Okay, for cross product of any vector with itself is 0, since the including angle is 0 and sine 0 is 0. Over here including angle is sine 90 or sine minus 90. So it is 1, it is minus 1. Okay, so we have at least come down to 6 terms now. Now you can collect terms according to each unit vectors, so that what has this become? It becomes ay bz minus ax by ax unit vector, az bx minus ax bz ay ax by a minus ay bx z unit vector. This result may be combined to give this matrix. So we have at least come down to 6 terms, and now you can collect them according to each unit vector. Okay, and as written as determinant in a more easily remembered form, because when you take the determinant, you choose any row. Let's say we choose top row, okay, and then we take sum of cross over all minors. Okay, so ax hat times, it will be ax hat times determinant of this minor, which is ay into bz minus az into by, plus y hat times this minor, which is, I will just clear to make it clear the pen. Here is the pen. Okay, so ax minor of this determinant of this minor. If you are taking ay, this and this term will come. So it is ax hat ay into bz minus az by. Similarly for ay, it is ax into bz minus bx az. Now we know that for this it is negative, so over here if I am taking negative, it is negative, is positive, and this term will become positive, and which is what we are getting here. And third term is positive az. For that we have to take these two, ax into by minus ay bx. So this is how it is easy to remember. Okay, so the cyclic permutation of cross product of unit vectors ax ay az, ax is following az. Okay, so ax into ay will give me az, ay into ax will give me az, ay into az will give me ax, az into ax will give me ay. Okay, if I am moving clockwise, led to positive results. If I am moving anti-clockwise, I am getting negative values. So it is like az multiplied by ay will give me minus ax. Okay, so this is how you can remember that also. Now comes application of cross product. Okay, supposing we have two vectors. You are having two vectors which are at angle 90 degree. This u and v is the vector. Then we know that the area of square is this vector magnitude of first vector multiplied by the magnitude of second vector is the area of square. Okay, and this is just multiplication. Area of rectangle is product of two sides, but supposing you have two vectors which are not at 90 degree. These vectors are not at 90 degree to each other. Then we know that we have to draw a parallelogram. Okay, and has an area that is equals to rectangular with same base. So it is the distance which is magnitude. So I will call it u distance for base, and this distance is the magnitude v, but the height is magnitude v times sine theta, and theta is the angle between u and v. So the area of parallelogram is same as area of rectangle, u vector u magnitude multiply vector v magnitude sine theta, and this is the same formula that you get from cross product. So you can see that cross product deals with sine theta. The cross product is actually very closely related to finding area of rectangular object when you have two vectors which are not at 90 degree with each other. So the area is this. Okay, and when you are trying to give the direction to the area, the only natural direction they give is out of page. The direction of these two vectors will be out of the page. If you will see over here, I am using dot. Dot is showing me it is coming out of the page. So you can't give the direction of an area as this way, means you either in this direction or that direction. If there is any one direction that define an area, it is direction that is pointing away from the area. Okay, so it is very strange way of thinking about things, but it has proven to be very, very useful in physics. So if you now take a square has some hidden sides. Okay, so the area will pointing outward like this. Okay, and this area will point upward, and the area point away from the surface, you can see. So these areas are called normal, and the direction of cross product is nothing but the direction of these normal. So if you take any two vectors v and u, the idea of cross product is make the parallelogram that is constructed by v and u and then point in the direction of its normal. Okay, so when you do that, you have the direction of cross product and the area of parallelogram. That is magnitudes of cross product. As I said, it is very strange kind of definition, but in fact not only it is useful, half the equation of electricity and magnetics use the cross product. So they use a compilation of cross product, but are basically the cross product. They use a complications cross product, but basically the cross product. Where does the cross product come? Well, the first place where it comes is in Ampere's law, where you have a current and you want the magnetic field B. So when you want the magnetic field B from a current, you would like to use Ampere law. So Ampere law tells us that the line joining wire to B across the current has something to do with the magnetic field magnitude and direction. Okay, so that we will see in coming lecture. So now here, if you see cuboid also, if this is my surface, area will be normal. If this is my surface, area will be, so direction will be normal to that. If this is my surface, direction is normal. Okay, so this is how cross product work. So you have seen that cross product is intrinsically dealing with determinants of two vectors. Now why is that important? One of the important application that immediately comes is that if I want to take cross product and dot product is something else. So I suppose I said that giving three vectors a, b and c, we define scalar triple product. So that scalar triple product of three vectors a, b, c is a cross b dot c. Okay, it is scalar product because just like dot product, it will give me a single number. So if I say a is equals to ax, ax, ay, az, b is equals to bx, by, bz, c is equals to cx, cy, cz, then a cross b dot c is volume of it's so complicated, it's a tongue twister for me. Parallel piped, okay, having a, b and c as the edges, and it easily obtained by finding the determinant of three sides. Okay, it can be easily identified by finding determinants of three vectors. Okay, scalar product is important because it is absolute. A cross b means it is absolute the value a cross b cross c dot c or b cross c dot a or c cross a dot b, all are the volume of parallelepiped snapped by a, b and c. Okay, or we can say whose adjacent sides are the vector a, b and c. So this formula for volume can be understood from the above figure. So the volume of parallelepiped is area of base times, this is my base, times height. From the geometrical definition of cross product, we know that the magnitude of a cross b, a cross b is area of parallelogram. So I got the area of parallelogram, and then the direction of a cross b is perpendicular to base. Then the height of parallelepiped is component c in the direction normal to base, that is the direction of a cross b. Okay, hence the height c cos theta, height is c cos theta, where theta is angle between c and ab. I will just clear it once. So this theta is angle between c and a cross b direction. Why do we need the absolute value? If we snap the location of a, b in the above figure, then a cross b would be pointing downward and the angle would be larger than pi by 2, and then cos phi would be negative. Okay, so from here the volume of parallelepiped is therefore a cross b dot c. So its volume is a cross b magnitude c magnitude into cos phi. Okay, and this is obtained in again cyclic permutation A B C, then again A B C. If I am writing, so first is A cross B dot B C, another is B cross C dot A, another is C cross A dot B. All are equal. Now we will see vector triple product. Okay, we define vector triple product by B A C C A B rule, and to remember that, back of cap, you can remember it as back of cap to remember this triple product rule. So triple vector product Q mean B, vector B multiplied with dot product of A and C, vector C multiplied by dot product of A and B. Since this A dot B multiplied with C vector is not same as A vector multiplied with B dot C, we know that A dot B, suppose if I am having two vectors A and B, and I am having third vector, so what is that? A dot B will give me projection of A in the direction of B. Okay, now if I multiply this third vector with this projection, is it same that if I am finding B projection on C? Okay, so this is that this vector which is multiplied with A. So here I am multiplying A in the direction with C, and here I am multiplying C in the direction of B. So both are not same, whereas this is same. Either I can multiply this projection with C or C with this projection, both are same thing. Okay, so this is correct, this is not there, they are not equal. So that's why we have to remember by this rule, back of cap, so that we can remember with which vector we have to put the dot. Okay, so it is very important in general when you want to find the volume of different enclosed or different surfaces enclosed together, because these vector in general will not be 90 degree, so they will point in various different directions, and you can draw a three-dimensional surface using these vectors, and what this will tell you is nothing more than volume of that surface, that object. Okay, so that's all for multiplication of vectors. We have seen single vector multiply with scalar, then we have seen two vectors multiplication in dot and cross, and then we have seen triple vector product. Okay, so that's all for today's lecture. Thank you.